Imagine you're in an ancient library surrounded by dusty shelves and your hand lands on a weathered book. Its cover looks ordinary, but as soon as you open it, you feel watched. A strange whisper seems to come from nowhere. A creepy sensation overtakes you, and suddenly you start seeing things you should never have seen. The books we're talking about today are not just pages filled with ink, they are gateways to things that should never be opened. There are people who've read these books and lost their minds. Some mysteriously died and others disappeared without a trace. But before we dive in, do you dare to keep watching? Subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, hit like, and let's start our journey into the depths of the most terrifying books in history. The Necronomicon, the book that kills anyone who reads it. Name, Necronomicon. Author, Abdul al-Hazred, era 8th century. Danger, causes the reader to see creatures from other worlds. It's said that the author, Abdul al-Hazred, was a mad Arab poet who lived in the desert and made contact with non-human entities. The book is filled with spells to summon terrifying beings like Cthulhu and communicate with otherworldly realms. In the 15th century, a Spanish scholar tried reading it, and after a week, he was found dead in his room, his face disfigured as if he'd seen something no human mind should endure. Strangely, several translated copies appeared throughout history, but everyone who tried reading them died mysteriously or vanished. The Shams al-Ma'arif, the Arabic book of sorcery that should never be tampered with. Name, Shams al-Ma'arif. Author, Ahmad ibn Ali al-Buni, era, 13th century. Danger. Those who read it without knowledge may open gateways to the world of jinn. One of the most controversial books in the Arab world, said to be a guide for sorcery and communicating with jinn. It contains mysterious symbols and spells, some of which are said to open portals to unseen entities if spoken aloud. There's a famous story of a man in Egypt who tried reading some of its spells in a locked room. After hours, neighbors heard screams of terror, and when they entered, the room was empty, and the man vanished without a trace. Some believe that reading it can open gates to other worlds, a world you don't want to visit. The Voynich manuscript, the book no one can read. Name, the Voynich manuscript. Author, unknown, era 15th century. Danger, a book written in an untranslatable language, no one has been able to decipher it. This mysterious book is filled with drawings of plants that don't exist on Earth, and texts in a language no one has been able to decode to this day. It first appeared in the library of a Catholic priest in Italy, and when an academic tried deciphering it, he began suffering from terrifying nightmares every night. In 1912, a scholar named William Voynich purchased the manuscript and attempted to study it, but suddenly, he fell ill and died before completing his research. Some theories suggest that the manuscript could be a message from an alien civilization or a guide to ancient rituals. Shadows from the Walls of Death, the lethal book. Name, Shadows from the Walls of Death. Author, Robert Kidd, era 19th century. Danger, contains toxic materials that can kill anyone who touches it. This book isn't just a horror tale, it's a book made from paper laced with deadly arsenic. The author, Robert Kidd, wrote this book in the 19th century as a warning about the dangers of using toxic materials in wallpaper, but little did he know, the book itself would become a killer. Anyone who touched its pages without gloves suffered from severe poisoning, some even dying within days. The US government destroyed most copies, and only a few remain hidden in secret libraries. The Grand Grimoire, the most dangerous black magic book. Name, the Grand Grimoire, also known as the Sworn Book of Honorius. Author, unknown, era medieval. Danger, contains spells to summon the devil himself. Considered one of the most dangerous books of black magic, it contains spells to summon demons and control them. It's said that anyone who tried to use it met a tragic end. In the 17th century, a French priest tried reading a portion of the book, but after days, he began acting strangely, speaking in unknown languages, and was found dead, his eyes wide open in terror. Some copies are said to be hidden in the Vatican, and access is restricted to only a select few. The Book of Azif, the Forbidden Grimoire. Name, Azif. Author, Abdul al-Hazred, era, 8th century. Danger, said to open portals to other worlds. This is considered the original version of the Necronomicon, and it contains spells to summon invisible entities. In the 20th century, a researcher who read parts of the book in a locked room suddenly screamed in madness and collapsed dead within hours. To this day, no one knows if this book is real, or just a terrifying myth. Now that you know the most dangerous books in history, the question is, would you dare to read one? Do you believe these are just myths, or are there things we were never meant to know? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and hit like, because there's more chilling stories and exciting content coming your way soon. This has been Ezzo, see you in the next video. But until then, don't even think about reading any of these books.